Michigan Out of Doors Magazine's OD is brought to you by Williams Gun Sight, located in Davison. Williams Gun Sight has Mid-Michigan's largest selection of used guns with over 2,000 in stock every day. Check out the website to view inventory and prices.
What we have here is an 870. The gun is obviously in need of some help. It looks like it was left in a gun case with a lot of moisture and no oil. Best thing you can do to avoid this is to not store the guns where moisture can develop and keep the guns properly oiled. Don't store your gun in a foam gun case where moisture can develop, because the foam actually wicks away the oil from the gun, leaving just moisture, especially in like a humid area like Michigan. First thing that has to happen with the gun is it has to be detail stripped. The gun has to be sandblasted first, before you even start. That'll take any of the rust out of the pitting. That way the rust doesn't continue to creep out of the pits when the gun is completed. Then the actual metal is polished out, removing all the rust and pits caused by that rust. And then the gun is actually chemically blued. The polishing process is the most time-consuming part, depending on how badly rusted or how badly pitted the metal is. Here we are in the bluing room, and this is the process. First, the parts are degreased completely, so there is no oil or moisture or anything on the parts. Then the soap is actually washed off the gun so the gun is totally clean. And then it will go into our caustic salts, which actually does the rusting process. From the salt tank, we actually go into into a rinse out to remove the residual salts. Then we go into a boil out tank, which will actually help to neutralize the salts. And then from the boil out tank, we will go to a cold oil tank, which will help to cool the metal slowly. This firearm's been sitting for roughly around 15-20 minutes in our clean out tank to remove all the oil and any debris. Now we'll be moving to a rinse tank and then into the salts. We don't want any residue of our cleaner on the gun at all. What bluing is basically a rust that we're chemically changing the surface layer of the metal and causing it in a controlled situation to rust, where the first few thousandths of the metal actually does. And that's why oxidizing rust has trouble sticking to a chemically induced rust. We're bringing all our parts over to the salt tank, which is an alkali, which will help to rust our metal and cause the bluing process. Right at this point, it is just the very surface layer of the metal that is rusting. So I'll leave it in here for about 15-20 minutes to actually let the first few thousandths of metal turn to our bluing, our rust. Now we'll remove our metal from the salt tank and go over to a rinse tank and then a boil out tank, which will help to neutralize the existing salts on the material. At this point in time, you'll inspect the metal and make sure it doesn't need to be carded or have any imperfections at this time. As we go into our boil out tank, this helps to remove all the existing salts from inside the metal and help to neutralize them. And then they will sit here for roughly around 15 minutes to boil all the parts out. And then we will move from here into a cold oil tank And then the parts will be set out to drain and cool overnight, and then the guns will be put back together. Here we have our finished product. This gun was really badly pitted, really destroyed and unusable. And now it's all completely finished, polished out, and ready to use for years to come.